Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 447 based on novel. So let's start. A giant arm quickly descended into the fog, creating a howling wind through it. It moved like lightning, and the howling sound became even louder. However, the sound was absorbed by the fog and didn't travel too far. The arm wasn't going straight down but at an angle. Wang Lin's body below his chest was grabbed by the palm and intense pain filled his body. However, the hand didn't use more power, it merely wanted to hold on to Wang Lin. Great desolation had occupied Dao Master Miao Yin's avatar and suppressed the soul inside. He was sitting on the palm with a gloomy expression. 3 platforms had been pulled in by the arm as well. They were clearly the 3 platforms that belonged to Wang Lin, Great Desolation, and Miao Yin. There was same damage on the platforms, but it was obvious that the arm didn't want to crush them. There was a flash of coldness in Great Desolation's eyes. Then he raised his right hand and formed a seal. Black gas that contained extreme poison gathered. He then let out a cold snort and was about to press down on the huge palm when Wang Lin suddenly spoke. "Senior, please wait." Great Desolation frowned. He struggled to raise his head as the palm descended. Wang Lin said, "Senior has just succeeded in possessing Dao Master Miao Yin's avatar and hasn't completely adapted to the body. Your mind is clouded. This bizarre arm isn't sinking straight down." As Wang Lin spoke, popping sounds came from his body and he quickly shrank back to the size of a normal person. When his body shrank, he suddenly fell. He allowed the 5 fingers to close, creating a thunderous rumble. Wang Lin landed in the palm, and his eyes revealed a mysterious light. He seemed to casually rub between his eyebrows with his right hand and spoke slowly. Great Desolation was no ordinary cultivator. After being awakened by Wang Lin, he had noticed the difference. This arm wasn't going straight down, it was tilted to the side. If Senior stimulated this strange arm, it would immediately close its hand. At that point, I fear it would be difficult for us to escape. Wang Lin casually took a few steps back. His right hand that was rubbing between his eyebrows dropped down, and during that process, he retreated some more. "What do you mean?" Great Desolation's face distorted and his original body's hideous face began to appear on Dao Master Miao Yin's avatar's body. The large hand didn't close completely, leaving a large piece of land open. Wang Lin retreated back to 10,000 feet away from Great Desolation and put away his and Miao Yin's platforms. Although his face was pale, his eyes were shining brightly. Wang Lin slowly said, "Junior has observed the trajectory of this giant hand and made a guess. If my guess is wrong, we can work together to find a way to break free and it won't be too late. However, if I'm correct, the appearance of this hand might not be a bad thing for us." Wang Lin raised his hand and said, "If it was really meant to capture the 2 of us, this arm should be going straight down. However, it is obvious it is tilted right now. That means it can only be." Wang Lin's right hand moved down while tilted until it reached a certain degree. Then his right hand jerked forward and blood light came from his body. Like this. Great Desolation's eyes narrowed. He hadn't prevented Wang Lin from taking Miao Yin's platform. He waved his right hand and put away his own platform. He contemplated for a bit and then there was a hint of enlightenment in his eyes. He glanced at Wang Lin. "You're smarter than the old bird." "Nothing to do with being smart, it is just a guess." Wang Lin shook his head. As the 2 talked, the giant arm that had been tilted for a while suddenly trembled as if it stopped. The howling sound also stopped and the surrounding became silent. Wang Lin's expression was serious and he was completely focused. He was like a drawn bow, waiting to see if his guess was correct. Great Desolation was clearly convinced by Wang Lin's speculation. He focused himself for the moment. Just at this moment, a shrill roar echoed like crazy. The giant arm stopped for a moment and then a roar came from the depths of the fog sea. As the roar echoed, the arm began to move. It looked just like a giant was holding a stone, and after tilting the hand, it would throw the rock forward. A powerful force came from the hand and threw Wang Lin and Great Desolation forward. It was impossible to describe the strength of this throw. It was so fast, it made the broken fog feel like sharp blades that landed on Wang Lin and Great Desolation's bodies. The arm formed an arc, and when it reached its limit, the 5 fingers opened. Wang Lin and Great Desolation were thrown like stones by this giant into the depth of the ancient tomb. The powerful force from the arm pushed the 2 of them forward. They moved forward at a speed surpassing third-step cultivators. This speed was too fast. If Wang Lin didn't have the body of an ancient god, his body would have been crushed by the fog ahead. Although the fog had no shape, once your speed reached a certain limit, this formless fog would become the hardest thing in the world. Popping sounds came from his body and blood spewed out. However, his body broke through the fog in a flash and he was thrown into the depths of the ancient tomb. However, Wang Lin had already prepared for this. The moment the arm threw him, he was like an arrow that shot out from the bow. His origin energy formed layers of defense around him and the light and shadow shield appeared around him. When he was thrown out, he mercilessly stepped off the palm. He had borrowed the force of the throw and used his own force to move faster than Great Desolation. He passed by Great Desolation and disappeared into the fog first. If it wasn't for Wang Lin having learned the Black Tortoise's law of strength, he would not have dared to do this. If he couldn't control the rebound force, it would have destroyed his body. Although Great Desolation was injured, Wang Lin was as well. Also, Wang Lin couldn't see through this person, so he had taken this opportunity to leave. This was the best choice. In truth, if it wasn't for the fact that Great Desolation was cunning and was about to attack the arm, Wang Lin wouldn't have stated his guess. Wang Lin had even guessed that Great Desolation had already seen through it and had purposely pretended to attack. Wang Lin didn't have time to analyze it in detail, so he simply left. Great Desolation was also extremely fast. He flew like a meteor after being thrown by the arm. When he saw Wang Lin flying back even faster than him, his eyes lit up. His right hand that had already formed a seal slowly loosened. This person is extremely cautious and extremely cunning. I wanted to kill him 3 times earlier, but he defused them all. I intended to borrow the moment when we were thrown to poison him, but he saw through me and borrowed the force to escape. Great Desolation was gloomy as he disappeared into the fog. Wang Lin was moving extremely fast as the fog rushed into his face. The light and shadow shield around him was collapsing and reforming constantly. The layers of restrictions he had placed disintegrated one by one. The force pushing his body lasted for more than half an hour before it began to dissipate. After his speed slowed down and the fog could no longer injure him, Wang Lin wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He looked back and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin turned around and took out his platform. After sitting down, he took out Miao Yin's platform. Then his right hand slammed down and Miao Yin's platform rumbled. The runes all flew out, and with a wave of his hand, those runes landed on his platform. When the runes entered his platform, Wang Lin's platform flashed violently. It began to groan from 30,000 feet until it was 40,000 feet. Its color was now completely black. It seemed as if it was going to fuse with this fog. Rank 4 platform. Wang Lin didn't stop and his right hand reached out, making hundreds more runes appear. These belonged to the cultivators that died in the sealed land. Wang Lin had managed to take them away while no one noticed. After taking them out, he fused them with the rank 4 platform. Thunderous rumbles echoed and it grew once more. In the blink of an eye, it was 50,000 feet. From a distance, this 50,000-foot platform was extremely large and shocking. Miao Yin's platform was already really close to rank 4, and adding on the rune from Wang Lin and those near 100 cultivators, it had reached rank 5. Sitting on the platform, Wang Lin felt that divine sense-like thing that came from the platform enter his mind. He had already experienced this, so he wasn't surprised. After observing carefully, 2 more areas were opened in the map in his mind. The 5 maps connected together and lifted the veil off almost half of the tomb. After Wang Lin found where he was, his eyes narrowed. I have actually reached here. In a short half hour of being thrown by the arm, Wang Lin had crossed 3 maps. He had even gone through the 4th map and arrived close to the edge of the 5th map. This place was the inner part of the ancient tomb. Not far away from Wang Lin was the shape of a leaf on the 5th map that marked out a forest. Wang Lin was familiar with this forest. It was where Greed got the ancient leaf. It was also where Greed saw the statue that caused the woman in silver to scream in horror. The 7-colored statue. Wang Lin had completed his rank 5 platform. In the 6th map, the fog wasn't dense, but there were countless spatial rifts here. If one was a bit careless, they would be torn apart. There was a 60,000-foot platform here with countless skulls scattered around. Although they looked messy, they created a skull formation. There was an old man sitting in the center of this platform, soaked in the smell of blood. The old man was wearing black and half of his hair was white. His face was rapidly changing between young and old. Between his eyebrows was a moonlight mark, but this wasn't the mark of the Moon Clan. Instead, it almost looked like a devil seal. If Dao Master Miao Yin's avatar was here, he would be shocked and extremely cautious. This person was one of the 5 masters that was seriously injured in the Fallen Land before, Devil Master 9 Heavens. Devil Master 9 Heavens suddenly opened his eyes. There were flashes of black and white from his eyes. The 6th one, Devil Master 9 Heavens' voice was hoarse. It sounded like 2 flying swords rubbing against each other. In the 4th map, the fog surged, sounding like countless ghosts were howling inside. This howl could shake one's mind and it filled the area. There weren't many cultivators here, and as the fog rumbled, a 50,000-foot platform was rapidly flying forward. There was a burly man standing on this platform. His upper body gave off a feeling of power. There seemed to be a giant wolf shadow roaring behind him. The platform was covered in dried blood and there were several wounds on his body. He was the 3rd step cultivator from the Heavenly Wolf clan that had come here while chasing Wang Lin. As the platform moved forward rapidly, his expression was serious. However, his eyes lit up and his right hand formed a seal. As his right hand pressed down on the platform, rumbles echoed inside his mind. A moment later, his expression became extremely gloomy. Another rank 5 platform has appeared. I wonder which 3rd step cultivator it is. Deep within the fog sea, there floated countless sealed platforms. Above them was a 50,000-foot platform rapidly flying through the fog. There was a woman sitting on the platform. She wore white and her long, black hair fluttered in the wind. Her expression was indifferent. While moving forward, she suddenly frowned and her expression turned cold for a second. Who is it? Maybe it is that Miao Yin, the woman pondered for a moment before continuing to move forward with the platform. Even deeper in the ancient tomb than all of them was an area without fog. There was only endless airflow that could tear up everything. A roar echoed as a figure hundreds of feet tall walked forward like crazy. He wasn't fast, and the endless airflow constantly crashed into his body, constantly creating wounds and causing the figure to roar even more angrily. Behind this figure was a platform more than 10,000 feet large. There was a woman in pink sitting on the platform. She was so charming that she could charm the hearts and minds of many people. Big Brother Tuo Sen has to be fast. Whether this little sister can enter the depths of the tomb all depends on Big Brother. The woman in pink covered her mouth and smiled. Her beautiful eyes were filled with charm and her voice was flirtatious. When her voice entered your ears, it would create an itching feeling in your heart. Shut up for this god. Witch, you're too annoying. If you continue to be noisy, this god. Before Tuo Sen finished speaking, her laughter echoed once more. Even her body began to tremble while she laughed as if she was a flower. I just like your rough ways. How about we stop and you let me give you a bit of sweetness to vent your anger? Okay. The veins on Tuo Sen's face swelled. He let out a roar and no longer paid attention to the woman as he walked forward. The two of them gradually disappeared into the distance. Only the flirtatious laughter continued to echo and linger. In the 5th map, Wang Lin was pondering. He was about to withdraw his divine sense from that platform when an ancient voice began to echo inside his mind. Obtaining the rank 5 tomb means you can open the reincarnation door and become someone who can obtain my inheritance. Rank 9 is the final rank. If one is from my clan, they can enter the reincarnation door and seek my inheritance. If not my clan, they can go to my hell. This Lord Yimo. This voice echoed inside Wang Lin's mind. The moment he vanished, Wang Lin's mind seemed to become one with the ancient tomb. Beside him, he could clearly feel for faint auras. Ancient Order Yimo. Wang Lin's mind was shaken. This was the second time he had heard this name. The first time was from the first-generation Vermilion bird. He clearly remembered the words of the first-generation Vermilion bird. This old man doesn't know much about ancient god cultivation, but during my time, the ancient god's power was heaven-shaking. Back then, although the ancient Order's Yimo wasn't as strong as the ancient celestial sovereign, the ancient celestial sovereign still dreaded him. Wang Lin pondered for a long time and then his eyes shined brightly. With Wang Lin's cunning, he naturally figured out that these 4 auras were all rank 5 or above platforms like his. I can sense their presence after obtaining a rank 5 platform, so they have obviously felt my presence too. This ancient order tomb is extremely strange. Where is the hell the voice mentioned? After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he suppressed the fluctuations caused by the voice. He looked down at the platform below him. He was certain now that in the ancient order tomb, the platforms were the key. According to the voice, I must make the platform reach rank 9 before everyone else. Wang Lin looked into the depths of the fog. According to the map, that was where the mysterious forest was located. Greed found the ancient leaf and statue there. He also said that after touching the statue, a vortex appeared. After he entered the vortex, he left the tomb and appeared in the outer realm. I wonder if that vortex is still there. No matter what happens, I must go visit that forest. After making up his mind, Wang Lin controlled the platform to move forward rapidly. He cultivated to make sure he recovered as quickly as possible. He also spread out his aura and attracted a large amount of humanoid beasts from the fog. The moment they got close, a bloodlight would flash and they would die miserably. The life force entered Wang Lin's body, causing his injuries to rapidly recover. He continued to kill as he moved forward. After several hours, Wang Lin left countless corpses that were then devoured by the fog. After a long time, the platform slowly stopped. There was no fog before the platform, but a withering, yellow light that created a distortion. Wang Lin opened his eyes and looked at the distortion before him. His divine Sene spread out toward it, but the moment his divine sense touched the distortion, it was knocked back by a powerful force. His eyes lit up and the distorted, yellow light flickered like crazy. Soon, a phantom leaf imprint appeared. The imprint looked exactly like an ancient leaf. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and an ancient leaf appeared. He threw the leaf and it flew toward the distorted, yellow light. Soon, it landed inside the imprint. Thunderous rumbles echoed and countless cracks appeared as if it was collapsing. A gap was created in an instant. Wang Lin put away the platform without hesitation and entered the gap. After he disappeared, the gap closed and became a yellow distortion again. A withered aura rushed at Wang Lin. It contained the taste of death. Wang Lin appeared in an endless forest full of withered trees. It was a shocking scene. This is the place. Wang Lin's gaze swept the area. This place was exactly the same as what Greed described. Wang Lin rushed forward toward the center of the forest. This forest was too big. Even with Wang Lin's speed, it took him a while to reach the center, where there were no withered trees. There was a vortex floating above this empty area. It looked like it led to another realm. Wang Lin landed 1,000 feet from the vortex. He looked at the ground below the vortex and saw that it was concave. It was as if there was a statue here a long time ago. And a large stump that hadn't withered. The ancient leaf is a powerful treasure. Since it was born here, there must be another way to obtain more. Wang Lin retreated and arrived next to a withered tree. He placed his right hand on the tree and his divine sense went into the tree to observe. However, just as his divine sense entered the tree, Wang Lin exclaimed. He clearly felt his divine sense go into the tree and enter the earth below. This caused him to see something shocking. Wang Lin rapidly withdrew his right hand and jumped into the air. He looked down while floating in the air. The shape of this extremely large forest was the shape of a skull. So it's like this. His gaze pierced through the withered forest and looked at what was below. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes as he waved his hand and the blood sword appeared. It shot toward the earth below. The sword energy howled as it charged down. At this moment, at the end of the fourth map, the Heavenly Wolf clan's burly man followed the map and entered the fifth map. His expression was hideous and there was a hint of greed in his eyes. After entering the fifth map, he waved his hand and an ancient leaf appeared in his hand. I spent a lot of effort to steal one of two leaves, but the other was taken by Ling Dong. He disappeared without a trace. This leaf looks very ordinary, and if I had not seen that it had power similar to the Sealing Extermination clan when I was chasing that damn little cultivator, I wouldn't have known of its importance. There is a leaf mark at the end of the fifth map, perhaps there is more of this. The burly man licked his lips and controlled his platform to move forward. The blood sword howled and moved like lightning toward the earth. Just as the blood sword descended, a roar echoed from the earth. A large amount of fine cracks appeared on the earth and purple light came out of the cracks. From afar, it looked like the earth was hiding a purple sun. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, the earth quickly collapsed, creating a huge concave. The concave continued to enlarge and the purple light flashed intensely. The surface was broken, revealing what was beneath. As the purple light flashed, a purple python thousands of feet long came out from underground. This beast had no head at the front of its body, only a crack that shot purple poison toward the blood sword. There was a thunderous bang and the blood sword pierced through the purple poison and went directly into the crack on the beast. It then pierced through the entire beast. Miserable screams came from the earth. The blood sword rumbled as it flashed through the ground. Wang Lin formed a seal and waved his hand. A giant palm print appeared and rushed at the ground below. All of this happened in a flash. The moment the palm appeared, it absorbed endless origin energy. It created a powerful gust of wind and landed on the earth. The earth trembled and large amounts of dried trees shattered into pieces that scattered in all directions. When the palm print landed on the ground, it created a powerful shockwave that echoed across the earth. Still not coming out? There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. As the palm print landed, the earth began to collapse. The dirt dissipated into dust, and as the layers disintegrated, a huge sinkhole appeared. A portion of a grey-white skull was revealed under the earth. It was part of the right eye. This skull was beyond large, and it occupied the entire area under the forest. There were 4 python-like beasts roaring and rushing out from the right eye socket. Wang Lin floated up into the air, where he could clearly see through the 4 beasts. He saw a giant tumor inside. These 4 beasts were tentacles of that tumor. It was similar to the moongazer serpent, but it was definitely not a moongazer serpent. When Wang Lin checked the withered tree, he learned that there was a huge skull buried below. This entire forest was growing on this skull. Wang Lin had felt a violent life force below and had caused it to attack. That's why he had flown into the air and attacked first without hesitation. With Wang Lin's cultivation level now, he even had the power to battle the moongazer serpent from all heaven, much less this beast that was similar to a moongazer serpent but far weaker. Even Ling Dong, who was almost at the 3rd step, had become his slave. This shows how much Wang Lin has grown and how strong he is. At this moment, Wang Lin was calm and moved downward like lightning. In an instant, he arrived next to the tentacle beasts. Just as they howled, 9-colored fire burned in Wang Lin's left eye. With a wave of his hand, a firestorm rushed out and surrounded the 4 tentacle beasts. As the fire raged, popping sounds echoed. Miserable screams echoed as the fire spread deep into the skull toward its main body. Bloodlight flashed as the blood sword continued to cause large amounts of damage. Miserable screams were echoing when a violent purple suddenly flashed. The tumor hidden inside shrank more and more until it turned into a ray of light. It was about to escape into the sky. When the tumor appeared, its body was revealed. It was a giant tumor with a large amount of tentacles around it, and it gave off a foul stench. It looked too similar to a moongazer serpent. If it wasn't for the fact that it gave off no ancient god power, Wang Lin would have thought it was a mutated moongazer serpent. Wang Lin's gaze was cold as the thunder tattoo flashed in his right eye and appeared. In the blink of an eye, the sky was covered by a giant thunder vortex. The thunder tattoo replaced the sky and descended upon the tumor. As it descended, countless thunderbolts struck down on the tumor. After 3 breaths, the thunder tattoo surrounded the tumor. The miserable screams became an echo after the tumor collapsed, and not a bit of it remained. After killing this strange tumor, Wang Lin looked at the skull under the earth. He gradually descended and landed on the skull. He waved his hand and the solely dissipated. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the forest disappeared. The earth was peeled off layer by layer, revealing a giant head that had been buried there for an unknown amount of time. This head was extremely big, and what was revealed was merely half of it. There were 9 star marks on the skull, but the 9th and 2nd stars were blurry. 9-star ancient god. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he took a deep breath. This was the first time he had seen the corpse of a 9-star ancient god. He looked at the skull and began to ponder. He immediately saw that the position of the statue suppressed the entire skull. The purpose of the 7-colored statue was to seal the 9-star ancient god's head. There was sadness in Wang Lin's eyes. He was an ancient god, and when he entered the tomb, he saw countless dead ancient gods. The complicated emotions of seeing this 9-star ancient god's head caused sorrow to flood his heart. Even 9-star ancient gods are dead. Wang Lin slowly arrived between the eyebrows of the ancient god, crouched down, and touched the stars. There wasn't much ancient god power left, most of it had been lost with the passage of time. Touching the skull, it wasn't difficult for Wang Lin to speculate what had happened before. A giant ancient god was killed by the 7-colored cultivator and had his head cut off. A 7-colored statue was placed to seal the head. As time passed, dust gathered and formed soil around the head. For some unknown reason, trees began to grow and this place gradually became a forest. Wang Lin silently pondered as he looked at the skull below and frowned. The power of a 9-star ancient god was unimaginable and their body extremely large. Unless the ancient god suppressed their size, there was no way it would only be this large. Maybe. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his body flickered. He flew through the eye socket and entered the skull. This place was very large, and after a while, Wang Lin walked out with a bone fragment the size of his hand. The ancient god's 3 trials, 7 calamities. He was killed while going through his 2nd trial. Wang Lin sat there while looking at the bone fragment in his hand and pondered. What kind of place is the ancient order tomb? Who made it and what is its purpose? Wang Lin pondered and recalled everything that had happened after he entered. The ancient god was extremely mysterious, and even now he still couldn't grasp it. However, he remembered the shocking scene he saw from the Tao spirit. Raising the heavenly Tao with a Tao pill is not a good method. I have to find another way to make the heavenly Tao I stole grow faster. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He was still pondering this. From this, it was apparent that the 7-colored Daoist had stolen the heaven's Tao, but where and who did he steal it from? There was no way for Wang Lin to know this. What he focused on was to find another method to raise the heavenly Tao. Another method. Wang Lin looked at the skull below him and a bold guess entered his mind. Suppose that the 7-colored Daoist was the ancient celestial emperor. Before he obtained the heaven-defying bead, he stole the heavenly Tao, and for some reason he needed to raise it. He felt it was too difficult to raise it with Tao spirits and so he set up a trap. Wang Lin's eyes became even brighter and he continued to analyze. He clearly remembered that the first-generation Vermilion Bird had said that there were ancient gods in his hometown. Although they weren't the overlords, the ancient god dared to resist against the overlord of the world. The first-generation Vermilion Bird mentioned one name, Ancient Order Yimo. Why not Ancient God Yimo, Ancient Devil Yimo, or Ancient Demon Yimo, but Ancient Order? Could it be that with this name one can determine that Yimo wasn't a god, devil, or demon, but an ancient order? When I reached the ascendant stage in the demon spirit land, ancient demon Tajio said that the ancient order was the first generation of heaven-defying beings, and they gave birth to the second generation of heaven-defying beings. There was also the messenger of the heavens that appeared when Wan's lifespan reached its end. It was clearly a sealed ancient god. There was also the messenger of the heavens that appeared in the Scatter Thunder clan. When I broke his arm, he noticed I was an ancient god, and he called me traitor of the void extinction Tao. Wang Lin's breathing became rough and he vaguely guessed something. Traitor of the void extinction Tao, the heavenly Tao is dead. The messenger of the heavens called me the clan that killed the void Tao, but who is the void? Could it be the seven-colored Daoist, who is the ancient celestial emperor, who is also the first-generation Vermilion Bird's master? However, if this is the truth, there are a lot of things that don't make sense. Why is an ancient god the messenger of the heavens? The heavenly Tao is dead, but what exactly is it? Not its actual body, but what kind of existence is it and how does it relate to this world? Cultivation, could we all be cultivating this heavenly Tao that may or may not be dead? There was confusion in Wang Lin's eyes. This video will end here.